Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, today we're going to take a look at 23andMe. This was requested by somebody in the comments in a previous video. If you have a ticker that you'd like me to cover, please put it in the comments of this video or any other video, just the ticker symbol, not the company name. And if I reply to you and say that I've got it and added it to the list, then you can rest assured it's on the list and I'll get to it. If I don't reply to you, feel free to drop it again a few days later. That could just mean that I missed it, and refreshing it to the top of the queue could help. Okay, so 23andMe obviously has drawn down quite a bit since it came aboard. And I've been in and out of 23andMe a few times. I think it's a cool company. It could have an interesting future, but obviously it's going through the various struggles that we've seen. Growth stocks in general and recent stocks that have come to market have been plagued by similar things along the way, and 23andMe I think is just struggling with a bunch of those things. We'll take a look. Start off by taking a look at the chart. There's a couple of things that kind of stand out to me. So one would be there's sort of a couple of layers here, maybe even 3 layers or so of trend lines to look at. So we have one trend line here that captures all of this stuff. We have another trend line here that's much more subtle and capturing a bunch of this stuff. And then we have this uptrend here, if it can hold. Now here's the big question with this one. This certainly, I guess between yesterday and today, it's testing this same area, but that could, it's really the first time that it's forming this uptrend, so this could bust immediately. And if it busts immediately, that just means it was never really there. So just keep that in mind. We'll be looking for this to sort of continue along this path for the next several days if it's actually going to play out to be a real trend line. So this is what I'd be looking at. So right now it's confining itself in this longer term downtrend to the upside that it's continued to recently push underneath. And then here's the big question: can it hold this longer term uptrend that kicked off when it hit just about $7 mid-August? And if it can continue to do that, it's going to edge out of here in about the 22nd of September. So coming up pretty soon, it would be popping out of here to one direction or the other. Now, if it comes to the downside, there's some obvious support zones that have some level of strength to them, it appears. You see support here, obviously, support here, and then this is like a near resistance. It's not a lot of additional resistance to support that level, so I don't know how strong it'll actually be. The next one down, is probably pretty close in right here. So you have like this little band between 771 and 785 that could provide some support. So I would look to that, and then if it can't, right here with the body and the wick, I'd look for 730 to try to hold. Now these seem like very, very tiny movements, but as you see here, 9 cents is over 1% gain. So it seems like tiny fractions of pennies, but it's, with the stock being so low cost, those are actually decent percentage moves. If it comes to the upside, what I would look for, there's much more to draw from on the upside because it's fallen so much, but right around here, so you see this previous resistance to flip to support, resistance, resistance, and then try to hold support, resistance. This is a good battle zone right here at around 871. So if it can get support there, if it pops to the outside, pops to the upside, and can get on top of that 871, then it should be able to kill this shorter term downtrend that it's been under to the top side, and then it could sort of have some breathing room, a little bit potentially. Feels like a long time since 23andMe has had some breathing room, but I'll look more at the data end of that in a few minutes. This is probably the next really strong level. Resistance to flip to support, held support, tried to hold support, flipped back and forth a few times. So that 1026, now I don't know necessarily, because it's been sort of beat down quite a bit. I don't know if it'll really run from like 871 or above this white trend line at least to 1026, though it could, but it doesn't appear to me that there's a ton of super sticky areas in between 871 and 1026. Honestly, if it could get support there and then bust out of this downtrend and just get itself up and over that level, 1026 might be in that near run future. Now, it certainly may not go in a bullish direction at all. It could come down more, and that's why I'd look for that 785 to 771 support, and if not, look for 730 supports. And if we can't get 730 support, then we're basically in no man's land. Yeah, we're completely in no man's land, and would just sort of have to be looking for either additional trend lines like these or a channel or something like that that it could try to establish and break out of. But yeah, that's what I look for in 23andMe. If we look at the data really quickly, on the short side of things now, huge utilization, so almost 100% utilization. So shorts are coming in quite heavy, almost 10% also, which puts a lot of added sell pressure onto a stock. So I would just be aware that the selling pressure is there. Now this cost to borrow, if this could maybe 3, 4, 5x where it is right now, meaning getting like into the 40s, 50s, or above, then you could be setting yourself up, especially then if shorts continue to come in heavy and get this over 10%, you could be setting this up for a potential short squeeze. Now that's the other end, the other piece of that that could prove challenging is that 23andMe would have to get going in a bullish direction, and it hasn't shown a lot of movement to that, other than this potentially slightly higher low, if this even holds. But if it can get some bullish strength going, and if this cost to borrow continues to inch up, especially as this gets close to 100% and as this potentially gets over 10%, then you could see that sort of scenario coming into focus. There's a lot of factors that go in. There's a lot of ways that shorts can wiggle out of a squeeze. And so to my mind, I've always thought of it as though they have many more exit points than the bulls have to corner them and really effectuate a short squeeze. So I think that it's more challenging to get the short squeeze, but the setup could be there if this cost to borrow climbs toward 50 and then utilization continues to get higher, maybe even at 100% sometime, and this jumps over 10%. And 23andMe starts moving in a consistent bullish direction. We could do a quick check on the MAs here while we're here. I forgot to do that. We're in a fully bearish formation, which you would expect. Hasn't been able to hold that 20 MA. That was one of the more recent positions that I was in. I was trying to see if it could hold this 20 MA, and it looked like it was going to briefly, but then it just gave it up the last few days. So nothing that's really going to be helpful from those MAs at the moment. They're going to provide more resistance than support until the price action can climb above them. All right, well, good luck if you're in 23andMe. Like I said, I think it's a cool stock. I think it could have a really interesting future. I think it's having a challenging beginning here since it entered the markets, but like I said, that's pretty common. So once this sort of shakes out and we get to unruffle some of these feathers, I hope that the company does well, because like I said, I think they could just produce cool products, and it could be an interesting thing to have as part of society. So as I was saying, good luck if you're in this one. I hope that you're able to finish the week off strong, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.